Can you code a cocktail?
Damn.
I want more suggestions from people. This season, we're setting ourselves the challenges, but we want to hear what other people want us to do.
Exactly.
Make our own pizza topping. Create our own pizza. We can create anything. There's no such thing as too much.
There's too much yesing. Sometimes.
That's all we can do. That's all we know how to say. And we want more yes girls and boys to join us.
Exactly. And then I think it will be much harder if someone tells us what to do. You know?
So many ideas. That's the mixology. You have plenty more seasons to remember.
Yeah.
Hello, yes people. We are the Yes Girls, and you're joining us for episode 4 of the Yes Girls podcast in Nairobi, Kenya, on this beautiful, magnificent, superb day.
Totally.
We all dream of becoming more considerate humans, more skilled professionals, more world-savvy connoisseurs. But how often do we say yes when opportunities arise?
Yes. How often do you say yes?
Yes.
So we, the Yes Girls, 2 Nairobi-based wanderlusters, are making it our mission to say yes to doing, being, and learning something different every 2 weeks and documenting our journeys. So this podcast is a result of us saying yes to sometimes challenging, sometimes fun, sometimes entertaining, sometimes downright outrageous experiences. I am the happiest, most carefree, and most positive of the Yes Girls. My name is Akumu.
Hold up. What was that? Are you already trying to claim victory this week or something?
Not exactly. I'm simply playing the role that this episode deserves. You should try it too.
Do I need to use the same, intonation?
Totally. Yes, please.
Okay. Doolululu. I am the other happiest, most carefree, and most positive of the Yes Girls. I'm Claire.
You got my tune wrong, but it's fine.
Okay, I tried.
And together we are
the Yes Girls. Now let's tell people what to expect from today's episode, which is going to be a strange one.
Yes. Okay, don't expect funny voices. We're back to normal now. In this episode, we really double down on the whole thumbs up, hooray, hooray, positive thing that I guess the Yes Girls encompasses.
Yeah, we took it to its logical extreme and we decided to be positive to the letter and even think, act, live and breathe positivity for a week.
Yeah. And it sounds simple. I mean,
simple.
If all of you know that Shonda Rhimes thing of saying yes
the year of yes,
year,
right?
Yeah. And she wrote a book about it. I mean, there are even religious leaders all over the world who promote this type of lifestyle where you're happy, healthy, and considerate in your life. And we both consider ourselves to be pretty positive people.
Mm-hmm. But when you have to do this 24 hours a day for a whole week, there are some unexpected challenges that come up along the way. We are living, breathing testimony to this.
And funny thing about being is that it's a 24-hour thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like doing and learning.
Yeah, that's what makes these being challenges actually pretty hard.
Exactly. So, yep, we are going to bear it all to you right now.
Wait, you mean bear it all let's get naked?
Wow. Not like that, but tell our listeners everything that happened and to be vulnerable in an open and honest way.
Oh, good. Because if we actually get naked, they won't see it anyway. But Doris, who's in the studio with us, might leave the room. And neither of us know how any of these funny buttons work.
Yeah. And let alone these microphones.
Yeah. We'll just be recording forever.
It's a good point. Let's get on with the show.
And
let's get on with our clothes on.
Get it on with your clothes on. Being positive. is one of those broad, nebulous ideas that we all want to adhere to because we know it would probably make us happy. But we often get bogged down by the little things. We miss our bus and we think our day is ruined. We disappoint our boss at work and think our life is over. Someone's wearing an unflattering outfit and we turn to our friend and criticize them. Negative thoughts and actions affect us more deeply than we might realize. And a lot of the time, the only person that can control just how much they affect you or how much we let ourselves have these negative thoughts is, you guessed it, you or me, us.
Yeah, so a positive attitude is a powerful tool which, if mastered, can make you more successful, healthier, and it can even make you live longer.
These days, sometimes I wonder if living longer is all it's cracked up to be.
That's up for you to decide. But wouldn't you rather be free of illness and free of poor mental health for whatever time you do have?
For sure. Now, research shows that thinking positively has a noticeable effect on your physical self, not just your emotional self. A recent study followed 70,000 women from 2004 to 2012 and found that those who were optimistic had a significantly lower risk of dying from several major causes of death, including heart disease, stroke, cancer, including breast, ovarian, lung, and colorectal cancers, infection, and respiratory diseases. Other proven benefits of thinking positively include a better quality of life, higher energy levels, better psychological and physical health, faster recovery from injury or illness, fewer colds. I know we'd all like to have fewer colds, lower rates of depression, better stress management and coping skills, and a longer lifespan.
Wait, let's just stop right there for a second. We are in no way saying that thinking positively and being positive is a panacea for genuine mental or physical health issues. However, it certainly doesn't do any harm, and it most likely will do you more good than, any negatives.
Well, now you say that. I did read one article that said there is such a thing as being too positive.
Really? You mean those super upbeat, never sad, always encouraging, way too energetic people that just can't seem to read the room when you're sad and upset, and just think that cheering you up will at least keep you feeling better.
Yeah, exactly. Well, kind of. The article I read, which features psychotherapist Whitney Hawkins Goodman, LMFT, owner of the Collaborative Counseling Center, laid out the idea of toxic positivity. And I found similar ideas in other articles, but this one was particularly enlightening. So the idea that positivity shouldn't and doesn't equal blind ignorance of the bad things that are happening to you or around you. So she gives a few examples, all of which really hit home with me. For example, if someone is upset, a toxic positivity response might be, just be happy. Whereas a reaction of validation and hope, as she calls it, would be, it's never fun to feel like that. What could we do today that you might enjoy? So you acknowledge that someone is feeling, for lack of a better word, crappy, and provide some hope and comfort. Like telling someone to be positive or not think about it is quashing their negative feelings, which are valid in their own right, without providing any concrete solution or comfort. It actually can make it seem like, I'm happy, so you should be too, right?
Yeah.
So we try to avoid that during our week of being positive. No toxic positivity, but realist validation and hope.
And I mean, it's hard enough to be positive on the basis. So you can't, even going ahead is it's a bit difficult. So I don't think either of us are like that naturally, thankfully. So before we started, and as good podcasters and yes girls do, we did our research to figure out how best to go about the week. So there's one checklist we found from the health and wellness website called Healthline, which is checked and approved by qualified medical professionals and backed by research and, actual medicine.
Yeah, like legit.
So,
MD, PhD.
Exactly. So we thought that it was pretty legit. So it gives 8 tips for being positive, and they're as follows. Number 1 is focus on the good things. Everything has a silver lining. So you trip on some dog poo, well, you have a chance to clean that coat of yours that you haven't been meaning to clean for ages.
Number 2, Practice gratitude. Say thank you, even if it's just for a small thing, like someone replying to your email.
Yeah. Or not great taking you.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, keep a gratitude journal. Write down the things you're grateful for, even on a bad day. Write in your journal that you're thankful for the person that invented Netflix because it's giving me an excuse to eat ice cream on the sofa. And you also thank whoever invented the ice cream.
I'm gonna thumbs up to that. Number 4, open yourself up to humor. Find a reason to laugh. It scientifically makes you happier.
And number 5, spend time with positive people. Yeah. Leave alone, the energy vampires, all of them, let go of them. And just be like the Yes Girls and stick to the Yes Girls.
Spend time with us. Aww. Number 6, practice positive self-talk. Be nice to yourself even when no one's listening, because that's when it matters the most. Like saying, I'm awesome.
Yes, you are. Number 7, identify your areas or moments of negativity. Mine is totally in the morning. I'm usually a total train wreck. I'm not a morning person.
Yeah, I've seen you. Not pretty. Well, pretty, because you're beautiful. But it's not a pretty situation.
Not a pretty sight.
And finally, number 8, start every day on a positive note. I personally open the curtains and say something nice to the person next to me. Sometimes.
So the rules were, we would be positive for an entire week. And remember, this is being so 24 hours a day. Except when you're sleeping, and record, recount, and track each of our progresses as the days went by. So this would include our thoughts, our actions, our reactions, and to get us off on a good start. I'd like to know what you'd say to this challenge in terms of, just whether it's a yes or no. Claire?
Obviously, I have to say a big, huge, juicy yes.
Awesome.
First things first, we want to hear how you summed up your week. Akumu, how was it in just 3 words?
Mine is perfectly summed up as Akumu versus brain.
Are you not Akumu and your brain?
No, we are separate.
Okay.
In this episode, in terms of positivity, definitely separate.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
For me, it's never the same.
Wow. I am totally intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
Please, you have to kick us off.
Okay, well, I want to hear about yours, but okay, the faster I get mine done, the faster we can move on to yours.
Okay.
I know we're supposed to pick things to say yes to that we know will be tough, but honestly, I am a positive person, at least, outside of the house, although these days I always seem to be in the house. But really, this week was all about realizing just how naturally negativity creeps up on you, even when you least expect it, and also just how toxic it can be. First off, I did my research. I was excited to beat cancer and prevent heart attacks by being positive after doing all that scientific research we mentioned at the start of this episode. So I woke up on day 1 very excited. I even turned a toilet cleaning experience into something positive. Take a listen. Day 1 of being positive. It's a lot harder than you think. I thought I was someone very positive in general. But when you have to always be positive, I find myself tripping up. But today I've mostly focused on the idea of turning everything from a negative to a positive. So if you have to clean the toilet, it's not, I have to clean the toilet. It was, wow, great, I get to use my new toilet cleaning product and see how effective it is. And great, I've started my day with something productive. That's how thorough I'm being, guys. I think I at least deserve some credit for that. But this is gonna be a long slog. Wish me luck. I really carried on in that vibe, and at the end of that same day when I spilled a packet of spaghetti all over my kitchen, this is raw spaghetti from the pack, when making dinner, and I said 3 different rude words, I think in 2 different languages, stomped my feet, shouted out to Saxo that everything was going wrong and we were just going to eat bread and butter for dinner and that I just wanted to die and everything is horrible, I stopped myself and I calmed myself down. I just took a deep breath, slow, deep breath, and slowly focused on picking the spaghetti up calmly and
Wait,
encouraging.
at what point did you stop yourself? After
I lashed
the
out.
third word?
Yeah, after the third word. But normally I would carry on.
Okay,
And I'd
so you
carry
stopped.
on like cursing everything and just be in a bad mood basically the whole evening after something like that. So instead, I just encouraged myself. I used this as an opportunity to slow down, not rush, so as to minimize more mishaps. Because I tend to rush everything in my life. You've seen me, right? I rush. So then moving on at work, I managed to be pretty positive about everything. And even when I was told things which I would normally have interpreted as criticism, even when they're not intended as criticism, I really tried to embrace these as learning opportunities. Because the truth of the matter, I realized, is that no one is really out to hurt you or ruin your life. So the best thing to do is just move on and not let these things bring you down or bring me down. Because the person on the giving end of the criticism sure as hell has already moved on, right? They're not going to be thinking about this. This is something that I haven't just been thinking about this week, but I really put a concerted effort into it this week, especially, I started a new full-time gig, I'm learning a new company, new colleagues, new ways of working. So I really, really use this as an opportunity to be really positive about that. So next up, I went on a gorgeous weekend away with friends. Just a small group of us, a huge house perched on the edge of a cliff overlooking.
Are you always out on weekends? It seems that you are.
No, it's just right now that's all we've got, right? Like there's no big trips or holidays. Normally I'd probably be going to see my family in Europe. This was just a little weekend away. It was, it was a holiday weekend. So we had a huge house perched on the edge of a cliff overlooking the Rift Valley, a fridge full of food, a private bar full of drinks, and just an empty weekend full of opportunities. So I explained to my friends right from the beginning the challenge, and I encouraged them all to be my accountability partners, right? So instead of laughing at me or brushing it off, they were all genuinely intrigued and they commended me when they saw me displaying positive behavior, right? When they said, wow, like, good job on, you really are being positive. And honestly, having
are these friends who really know you very
well? So some of them were like new friends or friends of friends, but others know me, like especially recently we've been spending quite a lot of time together. So they do know me. So they know I am generally pretty positive, but they really saw me making a concerted effort.
Nice.
Yeah, the way I talk about things, the way I was reacting to things, and even, saying like to the group, like, hey, let's put a positive spin on this. Let's
nice. You're going to be my therapist.
I'll
tell you why.
No. Let's not rush into anything here. And really just having such encouraging and understanding friends really made the whole thing so much easier, right? So here's what Cynthia, one of the friends in the group, sent me after the weekend. She sent me a little voice note. So let's listen to what she had to say.
Here are my thoughts on how you did on your positivity challenge. I actually got to be with you in a car for about an hour and a half, if I'm not mistaken. And you kind of talked to me about this positivity challenge. And we kind of discussed about like how to best go, how to go about, how to best go about implementing it in your day to day. And I remember we discussed different scenarios of when and how to kind of twist things around to have like a more positive twist, things that would otherwise kind of ruin your day. And I found that conversation to actually be quite enlightening because, as I mentioned in my job, sometimes I get very defensive when I feel like someone's trying to tell me how to do my job, and it really just ruins the whole experience. So being able to talk to you and you just telling me like, hey, maybe it's just coming from a good place and it's about taking the time to step back and really look at the situation instead of being reactive. I think other than just holding you accountable, I think you kind of ended up pulling everyone around you in it. So I think that's also very important to point out, because being able to do that means that you're also quite on top of your game, because if you hadn't, then the rest of us wouldn't kind of be, apart from, of course, David. David was on the opposite end of it. But being able to kind of pull us all into it and have discussions around it, I think you did pretty good.
Yeah, so really thank you, Cynthia, for that lovely, really heartwarming message. I really, really appreciate it. And in that clip, you heard Cynthia mention David, who is a very good friend of mine and also a bit like a big brother. So, of course, he did try and be like a slight negative force to my positive one, but only in jest. And, it's real friends that can do that. They tease you, but they love you, really. It wasn't all plain sailing, though, at Cornwall.
Mm-hmm.
I really had a couple of very tough moments emotionally where I said, sod it, it's okay not to be positive right now.
Mm-hmm.
I would say I'm pretty good at embracing such feelings because I know that, luckily in my case, they never last that long. So I usually can do, I just do with a bit of cathartic release, like let it out.
How?
I cry, I shout, I say rude words, I
In
kind
French
of
or?
any language that comes to me. Sometimes it's French, sometimes it's English, depends who I'm talking to. I really am a believer in just letting it out, and I'm very lucky that I have, a few people in my life who I can do that with. They probably don't enjoy it all the time because sometimes I do take it out on them. Just ask Saxo, poor guy. He bears the brunt of it. So I found myself having to do that, right, to get that release during this week. So just take a listen.
So I'm really trying to be positive, and I want to be because I know it can make me happier. But just sometimes I think we need to just, embrace that something that's happened to you is not good. It's not great, and things might be better later, but at the time, just maybe being positive isn't the answer. Sorry.
So apart from that little slip up, which I at least had the foresight to record, right, in my deepest, darkest moments, I remember to record it for the Yes Girls. I thought of the podcast, and I would say that saying yes to being positive honestly made my life better, not just for that week. I felt more connected to the people around me. And I actually explained it to a lot of my friends. But I did deliberately avoid falling into the trap of toxic positivity when it came to my friends who came knocking on my proverbial door for comfort or advice in their hard times. So I did kind of, someone came to me with something they were going through. And I'm so honored that my friends do sometimes come to me with that. And I told them a positive approach. So not toxic positive, not just cheer up. And I would never say that to anyone.
Their feelings.
Exactly. Right? Yeah. So I said, things will get better. I know it. You're strong. You're awesome. But then I also said, at the end of the day, you're entitled to feel like this because a bad thing has happened to you. And I'm sorry. And I know you're strong and things will get better eventually. And I'm here for you. Right? Like, what can I do to help you? And I guess that's the same message, the same sort of message I always need to give to myself, right? Like, it's okay to feel like this, but how can we make you not feel like this? And how can we make you not feel like this again in the future? Because if the same sort of thing keeps coming up, not to go into the details of what makes me sad in my life, but whether it's work issues, relationship issues, or anything, trying to break that pattern. And I think that's something you can't do in a week. You can identify maybe those patterns and start to identify them. And that's what I try to do. So I would score myself. I hate having to score myself.
Definitely better than mine.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to be positive. Score myself an 8. I mean, I didn't do anything grandiose or improve humankind or upend my routine or anything, but I really feel like I've taken this attitude forward with me. And that's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I really have, the Yes Girls, not us as the Yes Girls, but the Yes Girls as a concept to thank for this.
Let me throw a spanner in the works. If you can't rate yourself 7 and 8, what would you rate yourself? If you can't choose 7 or 8, where would you place yourself? Because 8 is a bit of a safe number.
It's a safe number. Yeah, I do like the number 8, don't I?
Yeah, you've done 8 a lot of times.
I'm giving away my secret. I just always score myself 8. Okay, well then, I don't know, because 9 sounds too generous. And like I said, I don't think I did anything too crazy or different. And I feel like I have a long way to go.
Mm-hmm.
But then in the sense that, certain people that I was talking to did let on that they actually started questioning themselves and
That's
seeing
nice.
things differently themselves. And, everyone likes to feel like they've helped other people. So in that sense, maybe, we can edge towards the 9, but then in the fact that I didn't do anything crazy or different. And I guess, I am very privileged to have a privileged life, right? I don't have so many negative things that could bring me down. So in that sense, maybe I'd lean more towards the lower end and the 4, 5, 6.
I think you deserve a 9. I think you most of your your whole story showed that you were making progress, and doing something different that you would have otherwise not done.
Yeah. So I still feel, I generally do have quite a lot of, I'm an anxious person in general, so I still have that, but I'm having far fewer moments where I'm letting things bug me for a long time. And so I generally feel, pretty positive.
Take the 9. Take the 9.
I'll take your 9. You can rate me 9. So now I want to hear about your week.
Do you really want to hear about my
Well, I think we all do, but we only want to hear what you want to tell us.
Wow,
How
my week.
bare are you going to get?
Wow. Let's get ready. Where do I start? So, after a happy story of Claire, fighting the demons and dragons,
Spaghetti monster.
yes, all the monsters. Then you have me, who. So I'll just start it like this. This is how I'll describe it in the beginning. I said that my 3 words were Akumu versus brain, right? Exactly what the week was. I feel like my brain literally brought AK-47s to a knife fight.
Wow.
Yes. And that's pretty much my natural state most of the time. Because I kind of have a mood disorder. I think I mentioned it in the previous episode for mixology. And I prefer to call it like manic depression because the word bipolar has been bastardized a little too much by mainstream lingo. So with manic depression, it means I oscillate between highs and lows across weeks and months if I'm not on medication. So currently I'm on medication, which is awesome. Which means my highs and lows are a lot closer to average. Anyway, so back to my week of positivity, right? My Akumu versus brain battle. I had so many moments of what you'd call failure, if I might call them. So I think it's best to handle them in categories. Yeah, I feel like my negativity was like, I could write a book about it.
Yeah, even using the word failure, let's not call that failure. There's no such thing as failure in the Yes Girls.
True. And the good thing is, okay, I feel like, okay, if we call it practicing positivity, then it means you are practicing and you're never always perfect,
Constantly striving for better.
Exactly.
You've always got something to work towards.
Exactly. So the biggest negativity, I'll just mention the triggers for me, which are normal for me in general, were, first a shift in plans and a scroll through a social media feed, which I think most people can relate to. So in terms of a shift in plans, I have 2 words: waking up. So the week literally began with me jumping into a negativity spiral after missing my alarms. And I say alarms because I'm a deep sleeper. So at times, sorry to say many times, I set 3 to 4 alarms to make sure I wake up in good time, even with the snoozing. So 4 makes it kind of possible. So here's a clip about the highlight of the first 2 days.
Well, it's day 2 of the positivity challenge, and yeah, both the days I woke up with a bout of negativity mostly because I slept past my alarm time. Yeah, I sleep like a log, so just waking up later than you expect makes you feel terrible because you feel like you're behind or you missed doing something. So the whole negativity, cycle begins like that. So on both days, I was just starting the day with negativity. And then I had to remember that, okay, I have to remain conscious of my thoughts and stay positive. So that's how my first 2 days began. Crazy.
Is this a highlight or a low light?
Actually, that's a low light. It's a highlight of the lows. So the days when I didn't exactly catch, so there are days when I didn't catch my alarm, and they ended up being about 80% of the week. So I began the days on a negative, but I'm pretty much a very self-aware person. So even if the negativity attacks me, I am aware of it. I'm not sure which one is worse, being aware or being not aware of it.
That eternal question, yeah.
It's like you see it coming and it's coming and it's coming and you're like, okay, you're here. What do we do? So, yeah. So the next days, those are the days when, if I start the day on a negative, I kind of use relaxing music to ease my mood. So I have this thing where I usually ask myself the double M question. So I wake up in the morning. As I said, I'm not a morning person. So I wake up and say, do I need mood or do I need motivation? So meaning if I'm in need of a better mood, if I'm in a negative mood, so I'll play music. If I'm in need of some motivation, I'll actually play, maybe some podcasts, interviews, all that stuff, those motivational stuff. I'm a self-help guru or obsessed person, as Claire knows.
We do differ on that in the types of books we read and the
exactly, which is so funny.
Thing.
And you see why I separate the mood and the motivation thing is because I'm never in a mood for both things at the same time. So the times when I need music to feel better, I'm not in the mood for motivational stuff because they'll probably make me feel like I am not doing things enough,
Like you're failing.
Yeah, like I'm failing, exactly.
Like when someone says just be happy, you feel, oh, I'm not happy, therefore I'm failing.
Or someone comes and says, I did this and I was able to do this. And then you're thinking, okay, but I can't do it. So
like those inspiring stories. Like
I know.
I'm not inspiring. I just want to get up in the morning.
Exactly. So that's why I separate mood and motivation. So there are also days when, the other biggest trigger, like I said, was social media. And the biggest culprit of all is Instagram, with LinkedIn being a close second. Yeah. So funny enough, because, I have a love and hate relationship with social media. Like I'm always on social media, but I also have this thing where I don't look at my feeds like crazy. I'd pretty much prefer to create content rather than consume it, because consuming is kind of toxic in terms of negativity triggers. So, I mean, those days were also, most of them. So I'm not saying like then all the days were negative. I'm just saying like the triggers were a bit stronger than what my awareness could handle.
Well, let's talk about social media. I think it's the biggest topic for this week for me because I constantly am on social media because that's part of my job, and also because personally I just like engaging in the platforms, and the ones I spend the most time on are Twitter and Instagram. And you might have guessed, Instagram is like the biggest culprit in just making me feel negative about myself, and just feeling like there's something off or wrong with me, or something that I haven't done and I should be doing, right? So a couple of years ago, I used to take like three or 4 months off Instagram. I think the last time was 2018. I haven't done it since, but yeah, I think last year I felt like doing it again. So social media is always a big problem for me in terms of positivity and just rather in terms of just feeling negative about myself. Yeah.
The other triggers were, team members at work, mentioning maybe a comment or something that should have been done, or, snide comments from friends. Maybe it's a joke or something. Memories of past rejections and all that stuff. So remembering the jobs I didn't get, jobs I lost. Guys, I didn't date.
You didn't date?
Clients I lost. Projects I didn't work on. Yeah. So
oh wow, the what ifs, the
what ifs,
rejections.
Yeah. So so it's kind of like maybe I look at my negativity with a magnifying lens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
that comes with being so self-aware, right?
That's a problem.
You examine yourself. You try to therapize yourself,
much.
but not in a constructive way, maybe.
Exactly. And I've been told like my overthinking is to my detriment. Yeah. So I think I overthink the negativity and I kind of forget the positive stuff. So like I said, it's always a full-on war between myself and my negative thoughts. And I feel like the whole week I lost most of the battles. I mean, if I would say maybe the positive times were probably when at that time when I ask myself the mood or the music, that's a very self-aware and a positive thing, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm aware that something is going to happen, so I'm stopping it from happening.
And it's solution oriented. Let's find a solution to this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in the whole week, even if the negativity came on, there were times when I just told myself, okay, stop scrolling Instagram now, you're feeling bad. Okay, or stop, looking at this, stop listening to this person, or just think about other things. Yeah. But I feel like I lost most of the battles in general, but maybe that's my overthinking. So on day 2, I remember I thought of doing the rubber band method where you stretch a rubber band and let it hit your wrist every time you're being negative. There's something like that.
Doing that?
Yeah,
I've seen that in popular culture.
Yeah,
So
but usually about, I think, complaining. So you stop yourself from complaining, so you do, and then it's...
So it's like a physical punishment almost for
Kind
when
of.
you think negative thoughts?
Yeah. It's kind of like Pavlovian thing where you're giving your body the thing of reacting to a bad thing so that it stops doing that bad thing. Yeah, but I didn't follow through. So
That's probably a good thing. I'm not sure how I feel about that sort of negative
reinforcement.
Yeah. Like a physical punishment for having negative thoughts. It's not very... doesn't feel solution oriented.
Actually, I'm not sure. Different people, it works.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if things work for you, whatever works for you, as long as it's not harmful to you or others around you, then great.
So I'm not
Absolutely.
sure. I'm not sure I'm a negative reinforcement person. Like we used to be beaten in primary school, and I'm not sure how I felt about that.
Yeah.
Although I was a teacher's pet, so it doesn't count. I wasn't beaten that much. I was actually the one being told to go and take the punishment stick.
Gosh.
For everyone else. Laura knows about that. Anyway, so I didn't do the rubber band thing, but I thought, I think I was feeling afraid for my poor wrist. And I'd like to try negative reinforcement because I feel like positive reinforcement doesn't work too well on me.
Okay.
So it's something I want to try. So overall, with my overthinking self, I think I'd rate myself a very generous 2 out of 10.
I'm going to stop you there. So firstly, Akumu, thank you for being so honest and vulnerable on the podcast. I really appreciate that. I feel, selfishly, I feel honored, and I hope all our listeners do too. But firstly, I just want to give you a big hug across the studio. Stupid social distancing. Know that I'm giving you a big hug, but also know that is not worthy of a 2. A 2 that's negative reinforcement, which I don't want to give you.
I'm giving myself negative reinforcement.
Yeah, which I know you said you might want to try, but I'm not telling you what's good for you. But I can't help but think that the fact that you reflected so much on yourself and your triggers and your motivation and your mood, and the fact that you acknowledge this and that you want to try and find new ways of addressing it constantly, which I know you do in your life in general, I want to give you, I don't know, I know you're a rebel, so it can't be a round number, but maybe like a 9.3.
What? Why?
Yes.
Oh, because of being the self-aware.
Yes. And also, we said at the beginning of this podcast that thinking and being positive is not a remedy or a cure for mental or physical health issues, but they generally can't do any harm. Obviously, please, anyone out there who is struggling with mental or physical health issues, consult an expert. We are not experts on this. We are just sharing our personal experiences and any research that we've done, and we've tried to really find genuine, credible sources. But, you really tried, and you were so intent on thinking how to make this work, and you did it in your own way, because you are a rebel. And you can't just do things the way that we're supposed to do them, right? So you did exactly that. So I'm gonna throw your 2 out of the open window, which is and give you a 9.3.
Thank you very much.
And I can hear thousands and millions of little voices out there, all our listeners, which are thousands and millions, of course, saying, "Yay, we agree."
And I think the good thing of doing a being challenge is that it's so open-ended. So even the rules of rating are very, they can be anything.
Yeah, you can't. We can't rate how happy or positive we are, and that's not what we were rating. It's a bit of fun rating ourselves, but that's why I'm gonna insist that you're maybe being a little bit harsh on yourself.
Then you're a 10.
You don't come back and change my score. I'm gonna stick with my boring number. All right, I think we need a little break after that.
Definitely.
Yeah,
let's wipe a tear or something. Okay, now we were able to speak to who we call an expert, but she's truly more than that. We spoke to Sophorn Ban. So Sophorn is a friend of mine. I met her about exactly 2 years ago in Cambodia. So she's a refugee child who was born and raised in Austria and became a spiritual healer there. And then she went back and deepened her knowledge in Cambodia for another 15 plus years. So she's been living for over a year in Austria to take care of her now aging parents, but will be back in Asia by the end of the year. So she was gracious enough to give us her time in terms of talking through our experiences, trying to be positive. And she was able to give us some pro tips on how to be better with ourselves and better in terms of positivity in our lives and how to deal with the not so positive stuff. So we spoke to her on a video call.
I don't like judging, and if it's rating, it is sort of judging too, and evaluating, which is never wholesome for any person. Being positive is just you are all smiles. It's the inner smile from inside, and being in some equanimity or in a balance, and then practicing positivity is being aware, okay, that comes up or that comes up, like you have had experience this week before, and just realizing, oh, that's coming up, that's not really wholesome, and then not judging yourself, and then, okay, it really triggers me, I'm trying to cope with it, I'm just breathing or finding active support for myself, whether it is in meditation or doing stuff that really makes you happy, meeting people that are empowering you, so situations where you can help yourself to become positive again, so that you are actually helping yourself to help yourself. And there's maybe one exercise that is nice to do. I already gave you some others, one might help you instantly
Mm-hmm.
to shut up, to let your mind shut off your mind, which is
Mm-hmm.
just try to close your eyes. Just try to close your eyes and just breathe in smoothly. And don't worry, you cannot do anything wrong, even if you wanted to. So just breathe in and just breathe out. And that's the most important thing. Like I just did, right? A little joke, one in between, it lifts up the atmosphere for you at all times. And then while you're breathing in and breathing out, you can feel your eyes, right? If you cannot
Mm-hmm.
really feel your eyes well, just touch with your fingers, with one finger or two
Mm-hmm.
fingers, touch your eyes. If not necessary, just feel your eyes from inside, and then just have the feel that you go behind your eyes, and then you just feel, oh, no thoughts anymore, and there's stillness. That's the
Mm-hmm.
point. Basic needs are also the same for everyone, but how you deal with it and how you were raised up, right? So, how to deal with it is a huge impact in our lives. And maybe there was never the room, right, for big emotions and big drama and big situations. It's just, okay, let's deal with it. Let's talk it out, which is a good thing, because sharing is really helping, and connecting with others always helps, because we people are social people. We should do that too. And it sets the focus back to you when you're alone at home in your own room, and you cannot really reach out to people by meeting them, because the exchange, as I mentioned before, it's not only physically that you see other people, but it's energetical. It's more than that. You hear the voice, you feel the warmth, and there's more layers to that. And when I listen to you, it's like she doesn't seem to have any problems. But of course, everyone has, and the problems that one has is the worst for them. So it might seem light for the one person, for another person, sorry. For you having these issues like, looking for approval of other people, and realizing, okay, maybe I could give myself approval. This is one issue that really um, weighs heavy on you. But then for other people, it's like, excuse me, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
See what I mean? So for
Yeah, of
everyone,
course.
the personal problem is the worst issue ever. It might seem light to others, but actually for oneself, it really weighs heavy. And maybe as the end, for yeah, before we part, let me just give you a one nice thing that I really love. Can you think of a situation that really upsets you every time you think of it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, you have that feeling.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Where do you feel it? Can you? You don't have to say where, but can you feel it in your body?
yeah.
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 How does it feel?
My
Like a
body
tightening.
tenses up. Yeah. Same.
Okay, so you have that feeling, which is really not nice, right? And you can
Mm-hmm.
feel it
Mm-hmm.
in your body. Okay, then go into that feeling, and it's really uneasy for you, but still do that. And then, whenever you're right, you're good, say the word bubbles as free as possible. Bubbles.
As angry as possible.
Yes.
Bubbles.
Bubbles.
See?
Bubbles.
It doesn't really work, right? That's the point. I think this is my if I'm really triggered and I know I have to do stuff, right? And I don't want things to spoil my day, actually. This is how you do that easily. You're very angry and very upset, and then I just pop it anywhere around my house and in my bag. There's always a small reminder. It's just bubbles that I drew or I wrote, and then it's like bubbles, say it very angry. It's no way to say bubbles in an angry way.
So a huge thank you to Sophorn Ban for really giving her time so generously. And I mean, after that call with her, I felt lighter and more hopeful. So that combined with the experience we had, I think really has had a profound impact on us.
Definitely.
And even if it's got provides a teeny tiny glimmer of hope or interest in anyone listening, then I feel like we've done a good deed. We've done our bit. But really, we just want to take a little non-commercial pause here to say that anyone out there who is struggling in any way or thinks maybe just things are a bit too much or they're struggling with being positive, we will share some links to bona fide professional resources, both in Kenya and abroad, some online resources for you in the episode notes. So please do check those out. Feel free to inbox us on social media if you have any thoughts. This was a bit of a slightly different episode to some of the others.
Yes.
Despite it being the positivity episode, it was... It got into some deep, dark areas of us, which is never a bad thing, I think. And just one thing that I discovered recently, which I found kind of blew my mind a little bit, was HALT. Have you heard of HALT?
No.
So HALT. So when you are feeling maybe down or upset, you halt. So you stop and you ask yourself the HALT. So am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely or am I tired? Because sometimes if you are feeling overwhelmed or sad or upset, sometimes the simple answer is that you might be one of those things: hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. So the solution might be, if you're hungry, eat something. You know, again, hunger is a very complicated emotion, but if you can and you feel up to it, eat something. If you're feeling angry, then do something to calm yourself down. Maybe talk to someone or engage in a creative project that interests you, or meditate, listen to music. Exactly. If you're lonely, maybe it means you need to talk to someone, a professional or a friend. And if you're tired, what's the solution? Probably sleeping, or even just, what's that yoga pose, which is a sleeping pose, which is my favorite. It's the only one I can do properly.
Is it the front one that I can never do?
You're just lying on your back, sleeping.
But the legs are at the back.
No, it's not. It's literally just laying there.
Okay, that's fine. That's easy.
That's why it's the only one I can do.
I thought it was like the one where and then you're back.
Oh gosh, no, it's none of. I'm not flexible enough for any of these. Just laying on a mat on your bed, or just even if it's just resting your head on something or closing your eyes. The tip that Sophorn shared as well could maybe help with that. So that's just a little tip that a lot of. I know a lot of mental health advocates also share, and I actually found it on social media. So, social media can be a good thing.
Definitely. And yes, don't forget to meditate. It's also something that has changed my life, and we'll add that also into the resources that we'll put in the show notes. So sadly, that's it from us. Now I want to hear from you. What have you said yes to?
Have you said yes to living a more positive life?
Were you born with a natural thumbs up?
Imagine coming out, being born with literally with your thumbs up. Or are you sometimes told to be less positive?
Tell us about it on our Instagram page, our Facebook page, and our Twitter page, all at Yes Girls Podcast 1, all together, one word.
And if you want to suggest something that you think the Yes Girls should do, be, or learn for a future episode, send us your ideas, please. They crack us up, some of them, and some of them just make us a little bit scared. And if you want to share your expertise, you could be our expert. If you want us to promote your business or are interested in partnering or sponsorship opportunities, or you just want to share your passion with us through one of our episodes, get in touch. As Akumu said, it's at Yes Girls Podcast.
We will also share behind the scenes photos and videos of our experiences in doing, being, and learning everything that we are planning to do. And so you'll get to see a little of what we put ourselves through, all in the name of doing, being, and learning for your entertainment.
And perhaps a little bit education. And if you check us out now on social media, you'll see some of those videos and audio snippets and photos from behind the scenes. Some of them are a little embarrassing, not gonna lie. We just love our producer, Dana Seda at Semabox, hosted by Baraza Media Labs. We can't get enough of Ped O'Brien, who composed our theme music, and we smile every time we think of today's expert, Sophorn Ban, and our friends, family, and supporters who encourage us along the way. And of course, we're just positively positive about you, the Yes Girls and Boys.
So we'll see you for the next episode. Should I bring in the intonation? We'll see you for the next episode when we will be saying yes, doing, being, and learning something new. Shall we tell them what it is?
Yeah!
Drum rolls, please.
Open bracket. BR, close bracket, IMG, dot source equals, yes girls laughing, close bracket, hyphen, dash, dot.
Sweating emoji. What the heck?
Well, you better know what I'm talking about before next episode.
So that's it for this episode of
The Yes Girls!